Part 16. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 Miles. Chapter 151. Buzz. The three men's terrifying attack will come as quickly as possible based on Yejin Wu's 5 elements law. The void was immediately sealed as the giant net of 5 elements law passed through it. Air, Taoism, space, time, etc., everything stops. This is one of the magical powers of the 5 elements Hedeo species. The combination of the 5 elements can evolve all things, and can also destroy all things. Break. Of course. The first thing Zhang Chen encountered was the giant network of the 5 elements law that seemed to be able to affect even the laws of time and space. The heavenly Emperor's fist, as vast as the sky, blasted out. The sealed void immediately began to vibrate inch by inch. It was like an undercurrent surging under the sea. Immediately afterwards, there was a clearly audible clicking sound. The giant web of laws that Yejin Wu had banned was shattered. Poof. When the giant web of laws of the 5 elements was shattered, Yejin Wu's body with a shock, blood spurted out of his mouth. Look at the ups and downs of his aura. It was obviously because of the shattering of the 5 elements giant network that it suffered serious backlash. That is 983 death. But with this moment of delay, Sun Tianji and Gu Senluo have already used the destructive killing technique and attacked Zhang Chen fiercely. In Gu Senluo's hands, the 2 Netherworld War Spears were condensed with Netherworld killing intent that could shatter the star field. The power of the Emperor's fist that Zhang Chen exploded was actually directly pierced and torn apart by the 2 Netherworld War Spears. When the power of the Emperor was broken, Gu Senluo's killing power was not reduced at all, and even more so, it hit Zhang Chen's forehead directly. This blow contains endless killing power. Once it hits, it can directly crush Zhang Chen's true spirit. Zhen Zhen. Sun Tianji, who had evolved the Hongmeng seal, was not slow at all. The Hongmeng seal he condensed surged hundreds of times in an instant, like a Hongmeng fairy mountain. The ancient seal fell, and a vast and boundless pressure came down from the sky. Such terrifying pressure makes even the true immortal beings feel frightened. Hold head high. Caught in such a horrific killing situation, Zhang Chen's expression remained calm and unchanged. Between the clicks of his fingers, there were ear-splitting dragon roars, sharp screams, and bright thunder, exploding between the heaven and the earth. A lifelike ancient dragon. A yin-yang kunpeng that covers the sky and the sun. A boundless world-destroying thunder. The 3 great and 10 evil treasures were launched one after another, causing the entire immortal peak to tremble. Call. At the same time, in the chaotic world behind Zhang Chen, endless chaos rose into the sky. The Hongmeng seal, which came down with shocking pressure and fierce suppression, was blocked by chaos. No matter how Sun Tianji changed his seal, the Hongmeng seal could not be lowered at all. Boom. Over at Gu Senluo, there was a deafening sound of violent bombing. All kinds of terrifying Taoist techniques exploded unbridled like tornadoes and hurricanes. The 2 Netherworld War Spears that tore through the void and stabbed violently were blocked by the 3 10 evil treasures. Aha! When Gu Senluo and Sun Tianji's killing skills were blocked, Yejin Wu, who had been vomited blood before, came back. With Yejin Wu's current cultivation level, it is infinitely close to the level of a true immortal. Thanks to that level of backlash injury, it was naturally healed in an instant. Qi La. I saw. Yejin Wu held the Emperor's sword, condensed the 5 elements law to the extreme, and cut the human sword into one. Billions of sword energy, like a galaxy of sword energy, traverse the heaven and earth, enough to chop everything in the world into pieces. The foundation of the first ancestral land is indeed extremely amazing. Yejin Wu had just sacrificed a top-notch imperial weapon that was vaguely comparable to the immortal treasure. The imperial sword in his hand now has a killing power comparable to that of an immortal treasure. It has unparalleled killing power. Roar. Mu. A shocking roar and ear-splitting roar appeared. A demonic ape with 3 heads and 6 arms, exuding endless fighting spirit. And an ancient divine elephant that was so huge that it couldn't even reach the star field came out of the sky. Yejin Wuo, who united his swords and slashed out an endless wave of swords, was blocked and stopped in mid-air. It's the 8-9 heavenly skills and the divine elephant's prison-suppressing power. Call out! Call out! Take advantage of this gap. Sun Tianji and Gu Senluo, one abandoned the 2 netherworld war spears, the other ignored the Hongmeng seal, escaped into the void, and attacked Zhang Chen. The art of sealing immortality. The art of killing immortals. Taisha demonic way. Zhang Chen still looked calm, casually performing all kinds of amazing treasures. No matter whether Sun Tianji, Gu Senluo, or Yejin Wuo charged so ferociously, they could not get close to Zhang Chen. How do you feel? They are not on the same level at all. The thrilling and destructive battle made countless Taoists feel an extremely strange feeling. They originally thought that Yejin Wuo and the 3 people who had unsealed the immortal species were enough to suppress Zhang Chen. But now this scene, but once again, it was beyond everyone's expectations. Zhang Chen stood still from the beginning to the end, not moving at all. And what about Sun Tianji and the other 3? They used various means, secret techniques, and imperial soldiers to attack and kill, but they were unable to stop Zhang Chen. It was as if there was a mysterious Taoist magic around Zhang Chen, which was constantly evolving various killing techniques. No matter which direction Sun Tianji and the other 3 attacked from, it was to no avail. The gap between the 3 of them and Zhang Chen was as big as is it so big? This is it. At this moment, even those supreme ancient ancestor-level beings fell silent. Although they knew the outcome of this battle when they saw Zhang Chen and successfully deduced the way of the Emperor of Heaven. But they still didn't expect that Yejin Wuo and the others would be suppressed by Zhang Chen so easily. Zhang Chen has not gone all out until now. It seems that, he is deliberately trying to hang Yejin Wuo and the others down. At this time, Zhang Chen was like a true immortal, capable of overpowering all beings under the immortal path. He is actually so strong. Bai Ziyu, who has stepped into the level of a true immortal, couldn't help clenching his hands into fists, and his eyes were moved. Although he failed in the battle for the Emperor's seal, Bai Ziyu was not discouraged at all. Because the competition in the immortal realm is the real priority. But now, after seeing Zhang Chen's astonishing combat prowess, Bai Ziyu felt a strong sense of urgency in his heart. Even in the realm of true immortals, he could not relax at all. Otherwise, when Zhang Chen comes, after entering the fairyland, he could still be trampled under his feet. Boom! At this time, an extremely terrifying air explosion sound was heard between the heaven and the earth. Everyone stared at it. Yejin Wuo and the other 3 people who were launching fierce attacks one after another were all killed by big mouths, vomiting blood. Zhang Chen, who was standing in the void without moving even half a step, stepped forward. This step was like a heavenly emperor volleying in the sky, bringing an endless sense of oppression. Yejin Wuo, Gu Senluo, Sun Tianji and the 3 of them all felt suppressed by the whole world. This naturally caused the 3 of them to suffer extremely terrible killings in an instant. In fact, the 3 of Yejin Wuo were indeed suppressed by the world. Suppression. Because behind Zhang Chen, the world tree sapling in the chaotic world is flashing with fairy light. The power of heaven and earth with a radius of hundreds of millions of miles is blessing Zhang Chen, deriving the power of the world. This is the true power of the world tree seedlings. If not for this, the world tree seedlings would no longer be among the most powerful immortal species. That's the end. 0.9 In front of Zhang Chen, who was taking action with all his strength, Yejin Wuo, Gu Senluo, and Sun Tianji couldn't help but come up with such thoughts. Because at this moment, they clearly felt how big the gap was with Zhang Chen. It is estimated that even a true immortal would not be able to defeat Zhang Chen. At the fifth level of the Great Emperor realm, his combat power is comparable to that of a true immortal. Such monster-like talents made it impossible for Yejin and the others to have any intention of fighting again. Although they still have life-saving trump cards, they are used to save lives. If you use it now, even if you win, you will lose the qualification to compete for the Emperor's seal. That is your Imperial seal, I will accept it. When plundering the luck of the three people, Zhang Chen did not hesitate at all and wanted to take back the three Imperial seals. Call. But at this moment, a vast and unparalleled dark energy suddenly rolled away. In an instant, the entire sky above the Enlightenment Immortal Peak was flooded by the dark energy. Immediately afterwards, an evil aura that chilled the whole body filled the air between heaven and earth. The Evil Fairy. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 miles. Chapter 152. What is the Evil Fairy? Zhang Chen's eyes shook, and he immediately sensed that the extremely special evil aura was the evil immortal law unique to evil cultivators. For Zhang Chen, who had deduced the evil immortal system, he could never sense it wrong. But, why are there evil immortals hidden in the immortal peak of enlightenment? As far as he knows, this immortal peak of enlightenment was unsealed by the supreme ancestor of the ancient immortal court. If there are evil immortals, those ancient ancestors, it's impossible not to discover it, right? Could it be that among the ancient ancestors of ancient immortal court, there were rebel evil cultivators? Is this dark energy? The next moment, Zhang Chen reacted again. When he came to Enlightenment Immortal Peak, he felt that the majestic immortal shadow had a strange aura. But he couldn't remember anything before. Now, seeing the dark energy that covered the sky and the sun, Zhang Chen immediately understood. Those weird auras are exactly the weird auras contained in those dark auras. At the beginning, when Zhang Chen understood the evil immortal system from the ancient evil immortal stone, he had a vague sense of it. But because I was in a state of enlightenment at the time, I didn't remember it very clearly. Zhang Chen didn't remember until now, when he saw the dark energy clearly. That is, this is. Is it an evil cultivator? Yejin Wu 12, Sun Tianji, and Gu Senluo also looked over in shock, and their expressions changed drastically. The three of them all had shocking backgrounds, so they naturally reacted quickly. They took action at this time, because they wanted to what to do. When their expressions changed drastically and they became extremely vigilant, Yejin Wu and the other three also had strong doubts. As early as in the ancient Yuan fairyland, Zhang Chen was almost robbed, and in the 10th ancestral land, Bai Ziyu was attacked. They then knew that those strange evil cultivators had been secretly watching them. But they still didn't expect it. Under the current circumstances, evil cultivators would actually take action against them. To know. The number of supreme ancient ancestors gathered now reaches nearly 10. It can be said. This is the first time since the immortal ancient turmoil that so many supreme ancient ancestors have gathered together. Those evil immortals chose this moment to take action. Isn't this asking for their own death? Is it possible that they want to trade their lives for lives? Suddenly, Sun Tianji's pupils shrank sharply, and he thought of a possibility. Yejin Wu and Gu Senluo's expressions changed continuously, and there was a vague and terrifying aura permeating their bodies. It was obvious that they were on extreme vigilance and might attack at any time. Use your strongest trump card. Phew. 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 At this moment, mysterious fairy light burst out of the sky on the three of them. It was the immortal Emperor's seal on the three of them. After flying out, the three immortal court Emperor seals automatically escaped into Zhang Chen's body. Yejin Wu and the others were shocked, but they quickly understood and did not say anything. 1. Although it seemed that the winner of this battle had not yet been decided, but the result has already appeared when they had no intention to fight. It is normal for the three immortal Emperor seals to fly into Zhang Chen's body. It seems that the situation is not good. Seeing this, Zhang Chen's eyes flashed with double pupils, and he carefully looked around. Although the inherited imperial seals of the ancient immortal court are divided into 5, they all contain the spirituality of the ancient immortal court. Now, the 3 imperial seals automatically flew into his body, which was enough to show that the situation was critical. However, this is actually a good thing for Zhang Chen. If the 5 Emperor's seals were on his body, Zhang Chen would no longer be worried that the Emperor's seal would be taken away by evil cultivators. As for himself, Zhang Chen was not worried. He has world-shattering weapons such as the Chaos Bell and the Immortal Killing Sword formation on his body. The source of strangeness and the evil clan outside the world. At the moment when something happened at the immortal peak of enlightenment, the supreme ancient ancestors such as the burning sky ancient ancestor, who was hidden in the endless void, appeared one after another. In addition, the 10th ancestor Dibiwiji and other ancient ancestors also appeared one after another. Appeared. At a glance, there were actually 10 of them. This naturally made hundreds of millions of Taoists excited. Normally, these supreme ancient ancestors were all divine dragons. It was difficult to see even one of them. Now, more than 10 people have appeared. How can this not shock the world? The ancient ancestor. The void shook slightly. An ancient figure filled with fairy light appeared next to the Lord Zhantian, whose expression changed. It was a twilight old man. At first glance, he looked like he might pass away at any moment. However, the aura exuded by this twilight old man has clearly reached the realm of the supreme ancient ancestor. He is also the only existing ancient ancestral realm in the ancient heaven. That's great, uncle. In the Taisha demon sect, a figure also appeared next to the old man of the 9 demons, whose expression also changed greatly. It was a figure filled with demonic aura and an extremely young appearance, full of vitality. However, this seemingly young figure, but he has lived for countless years and has a huge background. He is the younger brother of the Taisha demon ancestor who founded the Taisha demon sect in the past, and his name is Tamo Venerable. The world only knows that the Taisha demon ancestor has an invincible reputation and can be killed. The same as the supreme ancestral realm. But I don't know that after the departure of the Taishu ancestral demon, the supreme demon also realized the supreme. However, the supreme demon broke through with a secret method, so he has been in seclusion in the boundless sea of demons. This time, if it had not been related to Zhang Chen, Lord Tamo would not have left seclusion. As for the 5th ancestral land, the sleeping ancient ancestor did not appear. Otherwise, among their 3 great sects, there are 3 incompetent ones. The ancient ancestors are in charge. Of course, even if there are only 2 supreme ancient ancestors, it is enough to shock the heavens. Among the 5 Emperor Seal descendants, only Zhang Chen stands behind Zhang Chen. There are several supreme ancient ancestors and the other 4 people, regardless of whether they are the first ancestors or the Emperor's forbidden land, there is only one supreme ancient ancestor. Fenchen ancient ancestor and others, although this time they stand on the side of the first ancestral land, the Emperor's forbidden land, and the Nether realm. But this does not mean that Fenchen ancient ancestor, the ancestors and others will be used by their 3 great traditions. Therefore, in terms of background, Zhang Chen has a crushing advantage. Boom. At the moment of appearance, the ancient ancestor of Tianting and the supreme demon lord are immediately attacked with ferocious killing techniques. The attacks of their 2 ancient ancestors did not have much power. But the killing power that exploded caused the whole world to tremble violently. The creatures within billions of miles around, they only feel that their souls are trembling, and their bodies cannot move even half an inch. Because this world is imprisoned, making them completely unable to move. Even the 9 demon old man, Zhan Tianzun, and other half-step supreme masters can't hide the horror in their hearts. But it's a pity. The shocking killing skills of the ancient ancestors of the heavenly court and the supreme demon lord did not break through the mysterious immortal formation of the enlightenment immortal peak. So is it really left by the holy ancestor? The 9 demon old man and other ancestor giants, all it was hard to conceal the horror and shock. Even the 2 supreme ancient ancestors could not destroy the immortal formation barrier when they joined forces. Apart from the rumored supreme saint ancestor, no one can reveal this, right? That is, the source of strangeness and the evil clan outside the world. Has a holy ancestor been born? Yawenchen from the first ancestral land, Sun Wushan from the emperor's forbidden land, and ancient Chura from the tower of life and death in the nether realm couldn't help but sink their eyes when they saw that scene. Although Lord Tamo is a latecomer, he is the ancient ancestor of the heavenly court. But not weaker than their elder ancestors. The 2 combined destructive killing techniques could not shake the mysterious immortal formation. This naturally made them think of the source of the strangeness and the supreme saint ancestor of the evil tribe outside the world. Why was the ancient immortal court overturned in the past? This is in addition to disagreements within the immortal court, disagreements with each other, and the infection of the immortal seed. The more important reason is that the source of the strangeness and the evil clan outside the world, the supreme saint ancestor, took action. If not, the amazing heritage of the ancient immortal court would not have disappeared so easily. WX_103 221,766. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 153. Let's take action together. Yawenchen, Sun Wushan, and Gushura did not hesitate, and immediately joined forces with the 2 ancient ancestors of heaven. Judging from the shaking of the mysterious immortal formation before, a single ancient ancestor would be unable to do anything in a short time. Break through the immortal formation. Naturally, they had to take action together at this time. Lord Tai Mo and the Lord of Heaven were worried about Zhang Chen's safety. Their respective descendants were also trapped in the immortal peak of enlightenment. That's why they when did you escape into the immortal peak of enlightenment? The Snow Phoenix ancestor, who was surrounded by howling wind and snow, and who was faintly transformed into a divine phoenix, had a bone-chilling killing intent in his eyes. They had previously entered the immortal peak of enlightenment to investigate, and it was impossible for those evil cultivators to hide from their perception. Could it be that after they left, those evil cultivators also hid in? Then how did they hide it from their perceptions? It's useless to think about it now, break this immortal formation quickly. Ancient ancestor Fenchen spoke and immediately took action together with Yawenchen and others. When the other ancestors heard this, they did not watch the show, and their aura exploded. Although they had selfish motives and did not want Zhang Chen to win the position of the immortal court's successor. But they no way, just watch Zhang Chen and the 4 of them being killed by the evil clan from outside the world like this. Even if they really can't be saved, they still have to bring back the Emperor's seal of the ancient immortal court. Regardless of whether they are the descendants of the ancient immortal court, no matter what, we must not fall into the hands of the strange source and the evil clan outside the world. Buzz. With the action of the 10 supreme ancient ancestors, the mysterious immortal formation trembled slightly, and after that, a series of evil immortal ancient patterns filled the air. A stream of evil immortal patterns filled the air. The whole Xianhuang world was filled with the trembling evil immortal aura, sweeping across unscrupulously. The source of the strangeness and the Taoism of the evil tribe outside the world are indeed from the same lineage. The 9 demon old man, Zhantian venerable, 12 ancestors, etc. half a step ahead, all expressions were moved. That evil immortal aura is exactly the same as the evil immortal system that Zhang Chen taught them in the past. It is obvious that those strange sources of darkness are inseparable from the evil clan outside the world. That's the Taoist pattern of the holy ancestor. The 10 supreme ancient ancestors who took action together couldn't hide their solemn expressions. If they had just made some guesses before, now, they are completely sure. This mysterious immortal formation is exactly the Supreme Being. They were laid down by the Holy Ancestor. Because these evil immortals and ancient immortals are the Taoist patterns of the Holy Ancestor that can only be evolved at the level of the Holy Ancestor. Even if the suppression of heaven and earth has not dissipated, how did the Holy Ancestor of the evil clan outside the world come? Baiwaji, the ancient ancestor of the 10th ancestral land, murmured to himself, quite confused. The reason why the Holy Ancestor became a rumor is that even now, there is no trace at all. The reason for this is that the Xianhuang world is filled with unconcealable Taoist suppression. This is the mysterious suppression that has appeared since the ancient era of immortality and the great changes in the world. Even the Supreme Saint Ancestor, who is as powerful as transcending all realms, cannot resist the oppression of heaven and earth. Just like this, since the great change of heaven and earth, it has been difficult for monks to realize the Saint Ancestor. Currently, the only one who is known to have successfully attained enlightenment after the great changes in heaven and earth is the Taoyuan. In addition, even the Taoyuan demon ancestors who suppressed the ancient ancestor realm in the past were unable to achieve sainthood. This is why, since the immortal ancient turmoil, all the top ancient ancestors in the past have left the original team. They all went to the outer world of the black and yellow dog world, looking for opportunities to break through the Holy Ancestor. If there really is a Holy Ancestor coming, we can't possibly be unaware of it. This immortal formation should be made of the formation flags refined by the Holy Ancestor. In the eyes of ancient ancestor Fenshin, there was the true meaning of the fire Dao condensed, and he developed fiery eyes and golden eyes to gain insight into the immortal formation. Once the existence of the Supreme Saint Ancestor takes action, the entire world will be alarmed. Also, if the Holy Ancestor really comes, there is no need to specially arrange this kind of immortal formation in front of those beings. Not to mention the four Zhongchens, even they would definitely not be able to escape. Ancient Ancestor and Holy Ancestor, it seems, are only one word different. But the gap is as big as heaven and earth. At this time, outside the Xianhuang world, there is a land beyond the sky. In an immortal palace filled with immortal light, a vast and boundless immortal power appeared. Immediately afterwards, in a flash of rays of light, on the top of the immortal palace, a supreme immortal figure wearing immortal clothes and an immortal posture and jade color appeared. It is the master of the immortal palace of this generation, Chen Yanran. Since it is here, it will appear. In Chen Yanran's clear and bright eyes, there is a blue fairy light surging, like a sky being born. At this moment, the entire land outside the sky is affected by Chen Yanran, and thousands of people are resonating and boiling. After many years of absence, Fairy Yanran's her grace is still the same as before. An old voice appeared. As the void trembled, an extremely deep dark vortex appeared in the sky. A gloomy old woman wearing a black robe appeared from the dark vortex. The old woman in black robe looked old and dying, but her power was no weaker than Chen Yanran's. Are you leading the affairs of the immortal realm behind the scenes? Chen Yanran's eyes were cold, and her murderous intent was not concealed at all. The black-robed old woman in front of her looked like this when she destroyed the ancient immortal court. Now several epochs have passed, she still looks like this. Chen Yanran, I won't be deceived by her old age. Even this little trick can't be fooled by Fairy Yanran. The black-robed old woman seemed to be grinning, showing only 2 teeth, which looked quite scary. Do you think that you can stop me with just one Dharmakaya? Chen Yanran spoke again, and the dazzling fairy light on her body became even more dazzling. Of course, a Dharma body cannot stop you. But, Fairy Yanran, if you weren't in charge, how long do you think it would take for me to break the seal? The smile of the old woman in black robe became more intense, and she threatened directly. Did you notice it? Chen Yanran narrowed her eyes. There is a reason why her immortal palace has been hidden away from the world since ancient times. Because the world where her immortal palace is located has the seal of the world barrier. It can be said. Nowadays, the world barrier between the two worlds has not been completely dissipated, precisely because of the suppression of the immortal palace. The matter of the immortal realm is a dispute over the inheritance of the ancient immortal court. If the ancient immortal court is established again, your immortal palace will be endangered first. In my opinion, it is totally unnecessary for Fairy Yan Ran to interfere in this matter. The black-robed old woman followed closely and said, "What you said makes sense. It is indeed not my immortal palace's turn to take care of matters in the ancient immortal court." When Chen Yan Ran heard this, not only did she not refute, but she smiled. This made Chen Yan Ran, who was already stunningly beautiful, look even more enchanting. Huh. Chen Yan Ran's abnormality naturally made the black man, the old woman in robe, was quite surprised. Ancient immortal court and immortal palace, in a sense, are indeed enemies. But they are just rivals, not enemies, and there is no deep grudge. When the critical moment, for Qianniu, comes, the two will still come to the rescue. Just like when the ancient immortal palace was almost destroyed, the immortal palace came to help. Logically speaking, Chen Yan Ran would not stop interfering just because of her few words. Is there any conspiracy? I really have no control over the affairs of the ancient immortal court. But, if you dare to set foot on the land of my immortal palace, you will die. As soon as he finished speaking, a dazzling blue fairy light disappeared in an instant. At this moment, there seemed to be an endless sky, suppressing the sky and passing by. This entire outer land is under attack, with nowhere to hide and nowhere to defend. The black-robed old woman suffered devastating injuries and was directly blasted to kill Xian. The deep dark vortex was also cracked and seemed to be broken at any time. But deep in the dark vortex, there was vast and endless dark energy surging, stabilizing the dark vortex. The old woman in black robe who was killed before also appeared again from the dark vortex. Although the old woman in black robe did not step out again, her intention was quite obvious. As long as Chen Yan Ran leaves, she will come and break the seal of suppression in the immortal palace. _ Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 miles. Chapter 154. Do you really think I can't escape? Looking at the old woman in black robe who was chasing away, the cold light in Chen Yan Ran's bright eyes became even worse, and murderous intent overflowed. Oh! But at this time, a ray of fairy light came from the fairy palace. That's senior sister. Someone is coming. None other than Chen Sui. News came from the immortal realm. After arriving, Chen Sui immediately gave an immortal talisman to Chen Yan Ran. The ancient immortal court. After Chen Yan Ran took a look, her eyes moved slightly. This immortal talisman was spread throughout the ancient immortal court in the immortal realm. Naturally, it is self-evident for the person who spreads the immortal talisman. The immortal lord of the ancient immortal courtyard. In today's ancient immortal court, the only one who has the qualifications to spread the word to their immortal palace is the immortal master. It seems that the ancient immortal court has been secretly paying attention to the inheritance dispute of the immortal court emperor seal. That is, next, let's have fun. After Chen Yan Ran read the news about the immortal talisman, she felt relieved. She looked at the black-robed old woman with a pair of cold and bright eyes, with murderous intent. With the black-robed old woman's cultivation, it would be difficult to kill her. However, it is still possible to take this opportunity to severely damage it. Click. Immediately, with the dark vortex as the center, the sky was cracked, like a huge spider web. The next moment, a booming sound followed. The dark vortex, it collapsed in response. Even if the old woman in black robe used secret techniques, she could not stop the collapse of the dark vortex. But then, the void shook again. Another dark vortex condensed out. The old woman in black robe manifested, seemingly unscathed. 463 swish. Almost at this moment, a bright fairy light rushed directly into the dark vortex and sealed it. That person was none other than Chen Yanran. Boom. Along with the destruction of Taoism. A world-destroying war that could shatter the universe and galaxies broke out in that dark vortex. At this time, Fairyland, in the immortal peak of enlightenment. Even if the ancient ancestors join forces, they can't break through this immortal formation. Yejin Wu, who was slightly relieved when he saw the 10 ancient ancestors joining forces, became more solemn now. Is it really the rumored treasure left by the ancestors? Gu Senluo's eyes were also extremely solemn. Look at the current situation. Even though the ancient ancestors were just a short distance away, they could not be saved. This also means that they have to confront the source of strangeness and the evil tribe outside the world head-on. That means joining forces first. Sun Tianji was the first to react and immediately sent a message to Zhang Chen, Yejin Wu, and Gu Senluo. No one knows what kind of disaster will come. It is better for 4 people to join forces than to fight alone. That's good. Upon Sun Tianji's suggestion, Yejin Wu and Gu Senluo immediately fled to Sun Tianji. Now is not the time for them to fight among themselves. You must put aside your grudges and fight against foreign enemies together. That means you can join forces. Zhang Chen didn't react to this. The laws of time and space surrounded him, and the world of chaos swept away. With him as the center, a chaotic area hundreds of feet wide appeared, mysterious and weird. If you guessed it right, the source of those weirdness He Tianyi evil clan came for the Immortal Court Emperor Seal. The purpose is to prevent the Immortal Court Emperor Seal from becoming one and preventing the ancient Immortal Court from rising again. Naturally, after obtaining the 5 Emperor Seals, he will become the Tianyi evil clan the target. Bang bang bang. Sun Tianji heard this and was about to say something when there was an ear-splitting roar, like a thunderous explosion. After that, out of the dark air that rolled away and covered the sky and the sun, a statue came out. The creatures are coming. Those creatures are clearly divided into 2 camps. One side is surrounded by dark energy and extremely weird-looking creatures of various races. The other side is wearing black robes and surrounded by clearly visible evil immortals. Each one is a terrifying aura that shakes people's hearts, and they are all cultivated at the level of true immortals. They are dark creatures from strange sources. They are evil cultivators from the evil tribe outside the world. Outside the immortal peak of enlightenment. Countless Taoist beings who gathered all screamed in surprise, and their expressions changed greatly. Although Zhang Chen and Bai Ziu had been attacked by those evil cultivators before, but for other Taoist monks, he said that the evil cultivator was still a rumored existence. They had only heard about it and had never seen it with their own eyes. Not to mention, the evil clan outside the world and the source of strangeness actually appeared together. The 4 of them were afraid that it's going to be dangerous. The other ancestral lands and the Daotong giants in the great region looked at Zhang Chen and the others. Zhang Chen and the 4 of them are indeed amazing. Once they grow up, their future will be limitless. However, no matter how powerful a genius is, he is only a genius until he becomes a strong man. Now, the supreme ancient ancestors are blocked by such mysterious immortal formations. How could Zhang Chen and the 4 of them, who were besieged by dozens of true immortal beings, still have a way to survive? Those evil cultivators were so ruthless that they directly wiped out all the descendants of Immortal Court. Many giants from the Great Domain also felt emotional. This time, the ancient ancestors of the ancient Immortal Courtyard originally wanted to use this method to lure Taisha Devil into taking the bait. However, they did not expect that they would instead attract dark creatures and evil cultivators from outside the world. Such a clever timing also made many ancient giants feel suspicious. Could someone secretly collude with the strange source and the evil clan outside the world about this matter? You know, this is not impossible. The jealous immortal. There are quite a few people in the world who hold the position of heir to the court. Maybe there is really a Taoist tradition, secretly working with evil cultivators, and they want to take advantage of this opportunity to get rid of the 4 Zhongchen people in one fell swoop. It turns out to be you. This is Zhongchen's first time seeing the dark creatures from strange sources. But Zhongchen is no stranger to those evil cultivators from the outside world who are wearing black robes. He had suppressed that special aura with his own hands when he was in the ancient Yuan fairyland. Killed him. Moreover, he also plundered the origin of the evil immortal and exchanged it for the ancient evil immortal stone. That means kill him. When Zhongchen looked at the evil cultivators in black robes, those evil cultivators and dark creatures from outside the world also looked at him. Without any unnecessary nonsense, the dozens of strange evil cultivators and dark creatures rushed out in unison. The earth-shattering killing power made Ye Jinwu and the others feel more horrified than ever before. Those weird evil cultivators and dark creatures are not coming for them. Just the residual power of the impact made them feel so dangerous. One can imagine what kind of terrifying pressure Zhongchen, who was targeted, endured. It seems that the lesson learned last time was not very profound. Zhongchen, who was being charged to death by dozens of true immortals, had a smile on his face. When he was in the ancient Yuan fairyland, he had killed more than 10 true immortals. Now, only true immortals are still sent here. Although this time, these evil cultivators and strange creatures are not suppressed by heaven and earth. But in essence, there is no difference. They are all just in the true fairyland. That is death. In the blink of an eye, the dozens of true fairy creatures have used destruction. The killing technique is coming. The entire Enlightenment Immortal Peak is filled with such destructive power, leaving no one able to escape. Ye Jinwu and the other 3 immediately used their life-saving trump cards to resist the aftermath of the murderous intent. At the same time, the auras on their bodies were getting stronger at an alarming rate. This is obviously a seal that has been broken. Are they all going for Taisha Demon Son? That's not right. Are you going for the Immortal Emperor's seal? That is, Taisha Demon Son. Seeing the shocking killing power like a turbulent wave, countless creatures in the outside world were shocked and turned pale. In front of that world-destroying killing power, I am afraid that only the giant immortal King can withstand it. If nothing else goes wrong, Zhongchen will inevitably die. Under the gaze of countless eyes, Zhongchen actually took one step forward and faced him head-on to kill him. He's just a true immortal, so why be afraid? A hearty laughter echoed on the immortal peak of enlightenment as Zhongchen stepped out. Later realms, great emperor, true immortal, immortal king, supreme ancient ancestor, and supreme saint ancestor. WX_103 221,766. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section. Author, 10 miles. Chapter 155. They are just real immortals, what should they be afraid of? Looking at Zhongchen, who was fighting against dozens of true immortals alone, but he was so heroic and domineering. Outside the immortal peak of enlightenment, hundreds of millions of Taoist beings all have indescribable feelings. If Zhongchen, the demon son of Taishu, survives this calamity, he will definitely be able to become the supreme saint ancestor in the future. Both are the heirs of the immortal emperor's seal. Ye Jinwu and the 3 people joined forces with each other and looked alert. There was a sharp contrast with Zhongchen, who faced him alone and showed no fear at all. No wonder the immortal master would manifest the immortal cord repeatedly and teach him the Dharma. Even the existence of the ancient ancestors of the ancient immortal courtyard is quite touching. Let's not talk about other things. Zhongchen's courage alone is already arrogant to his peers. What a pity. Of course, the courage is gone. Courage. With Zhongchen's cultivation, there is no chance of winning against dozens of true immortals. There is no secret method in this world that can bridge that huge gap. Even if Zhang Chen has deduced the way of the Emperor of Heaven, he still cannot make up for it. It is not an exaggeration to say that the gap between the fifth level of the Great Emperor realm and the true immortal realm is as big as a natural chasm. What's more, Zhang Chen faced off against dozens of true immortals. Tisk. Under the gaze of countless creatures, Zhang Chen suddenly collided with the dozens of strange evil cultivators and dark creatures. At the moment of contact, there was blood all over the sky, flying wantonly and filling most of the sky. At a glance, the void of heaven and earth seemed to be covered with a dark black blood light, which was hazy. That's it? Billions of living beings who originally thought Zhang Chen would die. There was deathly silence at this time, and he stayed in place as if he had lost his soul. I saw. The murderous intent of those dozens of statues was so great that it was enough to destroy the evil cultivators and dark immortals in the entire star territory. The moment they met Zhang Chen, nearly half of the true immortals exploded inch by inch and turned into pieces of flesh all over the sky. Zhang Chen, who faced him alone with the arrogant aura, was unscathed and did not suffer any injuries. That sword intention. Even Ye Wenchen, Supreme Demon Venerable, Heavenly Court Ancestor and other Supreme Ancestors were all stunned and shocked. Because they felt an extremely terrifying sword intent from Zhang Chen. The terrifying intent of the sword made them feel cold all over. A sense of death that they had not experienced for countless years filled their hearts. How could this not shock those ancient ancestors? Zhang Chen, a mere great emperor, actually made them who stepped into the ancestral realm fear death? How much of a world-shattering immortal treasure is that sword intent emanating from? Could it be that Zhang Chen has the rumored holy treasure on his body? Even if there is, with Zhang Chen's cultivation, he shouldn't be able to activate it, that is, the supreme sword intention that appeared in Gu Yuan fairyland back then. However, many of the young geniuses of the Taoism were moved and horrified. In the past, when Zhang Chen was attacked and killed by the evil immortal in the ancient Yuan fairyland, he could chop out the entire sky with one sword. With that shocking sword, Tongjiang, the sword intent surrounding Chen's body is exactly the same, but hasn't the supreme immortal sword in Zhang Chen's hand that day dissipated? Could it be that there is more than one of those world-destroying immortal swords? Yes. No wonder it's like that. You have nothing to fear. Bai Ziu, who unconsciously formed fists with his hands, slowly released his fists and muttered to himself. With such a world-class killing weapon at hand, Zhang Chen's life should not be in danger. This also made Bai Ziu feel inexplicably relieved. Although he regarded Zhang Chen as a powerful enemy, he always wanted to regain the place where he had lost before. But he didn't want Zhang Chen to die in the hands of those evil cultivators and weird creatures. In any case, he and Zhang Chen only have a competitive relationship. Those evil races and dark creatures outside the world are different. They are the enemies of life and death. Bai Ziu is naturally able to handle big things right and wrong. Is that also the inheritance left by the ancestors? The 9 demon old man and other powerful men from Taisha demon sect all came up with such thoughts. Zhang Chen has risen rapidly since he got the opportunity in the ancestral demon palace. There are all kinds of secret techniques from the celestial palace emerging one after another. It is obvious that it is the inheritance left by the ancestor. Naturally, the monstrous sword intent that appeared in Zhang Chen also made him realize this. Since the ancestor had insight into the future, it was normal for him to leave a life-saving trump card for Zhang Chen. The Son of Destiny, who rules the ages. The Supreme Demon Lord, who aspired to be the Supreme Ancient Ancestor, had a strange color flickering in his eyes. When his senior brother left, except for prophecies, he left no inheritance in the ancestral demon palace. In other words, Zhang Chen's magical powers are all related to himself. However, Zhang Chen was praised by his senior brother as the Son of Destiny, who would be able to dominate for eternity. It is normal for him to have such a shocking opportunity. If there is no chance, it will be difficult to dominate the eternity based only on physical constitution and destiny. Just right. With his senior brother's inheritance as an excuse, no one dared to explore Jiang Chen's secrets. Enlightenment Immortal Peak. What a terrifying sword intent. Is this his trump card? Compared with the creatures in the outside world, Yejin Wu, Sun Tianji, and Gu Senluo can naturally sense hundreds of times more clearly. They were all covered in cold hair, and they all stood upside down at this moment, and even their blood was almost solidified. Those swords killing with intent is really terrifying. Even the killing power given to them by those supreme ancient ancestors is far from so terrifying. If Jiang Chen had used such killing weapons during the previous fight, then they would probably be killed in an instant. In a matter of seconds, the body and soul were instantly destroyed. Is this the Saint Ancestor's killer? Also shocked were the more than 20 true immortal creatures. At the moment when the monstrous sword intent swept across, they reacted in time and escaped disaster. If not now, they are probably turned into blood mist by those destructive swords. That level of sword intent is really terrifying. They had all sensed the immortal king's soldiers and the ancient ancestors' soldiers before, but they were far less terrifying. Then there is only one possibility. The holy ancestor kills the soldiers. But the question is, how can Jiang Chen activate those supreme killing weapons with his mere cultivation in the great emperor realm? 0 Under normal circumstances, the cultivation level of the great emperor cannot even be used by true immortal weapons. Not to mention, the saint ancestor killing soldiers are even more terrifying than the immortal king soldiers, the ancient ancestral soldiers. Using the majestic immortal killing sword formation to deal with you is such a waste of natural resources. Jiang Chen, who was filled with sword intent all over his body, had a wasted expression on his face. The immortal killing sword formation, in ancient mythology, was the #1 killing formation of heaven. As soon as this formation came out, it was said that only the saints of heaven could not stop it. Now, use it to deal with a group of true immortals. This is not a waste of natural resources, so what is it? Of course, since it has been used, Jiang Chen didn't think much about it. It's here. Then, Jiang Chen shouted lowly. Aha! 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 The bright sword light flashed. 4 blood-stained swords with murderous intent surrounded Jiang Chen. An ancient and mysterious sword formation diagram appeared at Jiang Chen's feet. The 4 swords of Zuxian, and the formation of Zuxian. The Zuxian sword formation is completed. At this moment, the void with a radius of hundreds of millions of miles began to vibrate. At a glance, with Jiang Chen as the center, there were waves of water spreading in all directions. Those water waves were transformed by the supreme sword energy of the Zuxian sword formation, and wherever they passed, the void was torn apart. Even the Saint Ancestor Immortal formation, which even the 10 ancient ancestors could not do anything about together, started to tremble. It was as if even that weird fairy formation couldn't bear the terrifying sword energy. Is it true that the holy ancestor killed the soldiers? Seeing the 4 immortal killing swords around Jiang Chen, all the creatures in the world were in deathly silence. Even those supreme ancient ancestors were staring blankly, as if they had lost their souls. On Jiang Chen, there were not only the saint ancestor killing soldiers, but also actually, there are 4 handles. This, enters, _ Union set symbol hide, recommend, and share. WX_1032217766. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 156. Run. In the immortal peak of enlightenment, those dark creatures and evil tribes outside the world shrank their pupils as sharply as needles, and immediately escaped into the air of darkness. In front of the 4-handed saint ancestor killers, even their 9 lives were not enough. Not to mention them, even the immortal king-level giants will have to answer here. Kill. The reactions of those dark creatures and evil cultivators were not unpleasant. But unfortunately, under the Xuxian sword formation, no matter how fast the reaction is, it will be a dead end. Tisk tisk tisk. Accompanied by thousands of sword lights, they shot out of the sky like meteors at this moment. The dark energy that covered the sky and the sun was all chopped into pieces and annihilated. After that, there was a rain of blood all over the sky, scattered along with the broken dark energy. Previously, those true immortal creatures who had escaped into the aura of darkness could no longer sense the slightest aura. This also means that all the more than 20 evil cultivating creatures at the true immortal level have been killed. It only takes a few breaths before and after. More than 40 true immortal level creatures were successively wiped out by Zhang Chen 837. One can imagine how shocking the killing power of the immortal killing sword formation that Zhang Chen launched. Certainly. No matter it is the great sects of the universe or the supreme ancestors, they are not surprised at all. The 4 saint ancestor killing weapons were sacrificed at the same time. Not to mention the true immortals, even a group of immortal kings would have to suffer. Are those 4 immortal swords gradually dissipating? But soon, the eyes of the ancient ancestor were condensed, and he saw the abnormality of the 4 swords of Xuxian. I saw that the 4 immortal swords that cut through the darkness and obliterated the evil cultivators were flashing with specks of fairy light. Those are the 4 swords of Xuxian, which are gradually dissipating. The monstrous sword intent was dissipating quickly at a speed that could be clearly perceived. What's going on? That isn't the saint ancestor's killer. Not only the supreme ancient ancestor, but other ancient creatures also saw the strangeness of the 4 swords of Xuxian. This made countless giants quite surprised and puzzled. Judging from the situation just now, even the sky can collapse. The 4 swords of killing immortals should undoubtedly be used by the saint ancestor to kill soldiers. After all, even the supreme ancient ancestor would feel frightened by such killing power. But, if it was the saint ancestor killing soldiers, why would it gradually what about dissipating? Is this not in line with common sense? Could it be that the 4 immortal killing swords were just transformed by the killing intent of the saint ancestors killing soldiers? That's it? While countless creatures in the outside world were surprised and guessing, Zhang Chen was not surprised. With a thought in his mind, he wanted to control the immortal killing sword formation and cut through the saint ancestor immortal formation. There is only one chance to activate the immortal killing sword formation, so Zhang Chen will not waste it. Call out. But that's it? A dark ray of light appeared from the void without any warning and attacked Zhang Chen. It was a black nail the size of a thumb. On the black nails, there are billions of tiny ancient patterns imprinted on them, exuding an extremely evil aura. Is there anyone else? Zhang Chen instantly noticed that the immortal killing sword formation, which was originally slashing towards the immortal formation, roared around him. Almost at the same time, a crisp clang sound resounded. The black nail that came from the attack was the immortal killing sword. On the black nail, a clear crack appeared, and then it was divided into 2. But the black nail did not lose its spirituality. The dagger became more flexible and shuttled through the void. Be careful. It's the soul-destroying nail. Sun Tianji glanced at the void in the distance and immediately reminded Zhang Chen loudly. The soul-losing nail. The ancient evil weapon that is rumored to be able to nail 3 souls and 7 souls. When Gu Senluo and Ye Jinwu heard this, they immediately thought of this ancient evil weapon. The soul-destroying nail, as the name suggests, can directly disintegrate a person's 3 souls and true spirits once they are nailed. During the battle of the ancient immortal court, there was the supreme ancestor almost died under the sneak attack of the soul-destroying nail. It was that battle that made the soul-destroying nail famous in the heavens and made people change their minds after hearing about it. Unexpectedly, in order to deal with Zhang Chen this time, the evil cultivator has even used this vicious evil weapon. Since he can sacrifice the soul-dispelling nail, it means that someone at the level of the Immortal King has taken action. Outside the immortal peak of enlightenment, countless older giants also recognized it and shouted in shock all around. The soul-destroying nail is a real Immortal King soldier, and only the Immortal King's cultivation level can activate it. This means that among the evil cultivators who have infiltrated the immortal peak of enlightenment, there are also giants at the Immortal King level. The Immortal King realm is hidden in the dark. That is to say, I have known for a long time that Zhang Chen has such a world-destroying weapon in his body. The nine-demon old man, Zhan Tianzun and other ancestors couldn't help but change their expressions. The 4 immortal killing swords on Zhang Chen were dissipating rapidly. The hidden Immortal King realm was enough to kill Zhang Chen without even showing up. Boom. Of course, those supreme ancient ancestors also noticed this. They were shocked and stopped because Zhang Chen sacrificed the immortal killing formation, and immediately took action with all their strength. The Supreme Demon Lord, the ancient ancestor of Tianting, Ye Wenchen, Sun Wuxian and other supreme ancient ancestors were even more upset. They should have thought of it a long time ago. Since those strange creatures and evil races from outside the world have even set up the Saint Ancestor Realm immortal formation, it is naturally impossible. Only dozens of true immortals will be sent out. If I hadn't let up just now and kept attacking, I might have broken through the holy pattern formation now. The fairy formation set up by the Saint Ancestor Realm does have unparalleled killing power. But it's just a powerful formation. It's just a magic circle formed by the power of the Holy Ancestor. With their ancient Ancestor Realm cultivation and trump cards, they can still defeat the magic circle by joining forces with each other. However, it will take a certain amount of time. And now, what they lack most is time. In the immortal peak of enlightenment. Call out! Call out! The soul-dispersing nail that split into two, after traveling through the void, attacked Zhang Chen again. It's broken. Zhang Chen, with eyes wide open, pointed out the immortal killing sword and the immortal killing sword, and slashed out ferociously. The sound of cries started again. The 2 soul-dispersing nails that came from the attack were killed directly this time, turned into powder. Phew. At the same time, the sinking immortal sword and the absolute immortal sword merged into one, slashing towards the Saint Ancestor immortal formation. The place where the attack was struck was exactly where the 10 ancient ancestors joined forces to attack. The immortal killing sword formation is about to dissipate, and another giant immortal king is coming. Zhang Chen will naturally escape. Boom. However, the slashing attack of Zhenji's double swords was blocked. I saw a dark iron circle roaring out, creating an unfathomable dark vortex. In that dark whirlpool, there is a sea of darkness surging, colliding with the 2 swords of Zhenji. An extremely terrifying law impact erupted in the dark vortex, sweeping through billions of realms. However, that dark vortex is obviously connected to a certain mysterious world. The terrifying magic that could shatter the star field did not shatter the dark vortex. Obviously, the giant immortal king hiding in the dark was quite well prepared. You hidden rat, get out of here. Zhang Chen didn't pay attention to the 2 trapped swords, his double pupils broke through the space, and he immediately found the giant immortal king. Whoosh! The immortal killing sword and the immortal killing sword turned into 2 bright rays of fairy light, and they slashed as fast as a meteor. Come out! Although within these few breaths, the sword power of these 2 fairy swords has been greatly weakened again. But even so, the overwhelming killing power is still enough to make even the giants of the fairy kings tremble. Oh! Those hiding in the dark. 5.3 The giant of the immortal king naturally knew the killing power of the immortal killing sword and did not confront him head-on. The dark energy exploded around him and filled the air, and his figure was like a ghost breaking through the sky, with after-images lingering in the sky. Death. Zhang Chen's double pupils condensed to the point of death. At the extreme end, he saw through the escape method of the Dark Immortal King and slashed out with his killing swords. There was a sound of blood and blood. The Dark Immortal King, who was covered in darkness, was killed directly, and even his true spirit was shattered. This final killing power also caused the Immortal Killing Sword and the Immortal Killing Sword to turn into specks of fairy light and disperse. Is it over? Yejin Wuo, Sun Tianji, and Gu Senluo looked at the Dark Immortal King who had lost all his life, and murmured to themselves. It's really time to end. But then, a bone-cold voice seemed to answer them, echoing in the void. Yejin Wu and the three others felt a chill in their bodies and stared intently. In the void, a creature filled with black energy slowly emerged. That shocking and terrifying immortal power is a giant in the Immortal King realm, WX_103 221,766. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 miles. Chapter 157. That was just, the Immortal King's Dharmakaya. The expressions of the three Yejinwu who had just breathed a sudden change suddenly changed, and they immediately used life-saving weapons. Those life-saving weapons were made by the ancient ancestors of their respective sects, and contained world-shattering power. However, this kind of killing weapon was not enough to save their lives in front of a giant immortal king. Because when the ancient ancestors of the three great Dao Tong were refining, they did not think that they would encounter the giant immortal king. Being able to refine making a killing weapon that can be activated by Yejinwu and the others and can withstand the level of a true immortal is already an extremely impressive method. Damn it! Outside the immortal peak of enlightenment, the expressions of the Supreme Demon Lord, the ancient ancestor of Heavenly Court, the Nine Demon Old Man and others all changed. Around Zhang Chen, the immortal killing sword formation that could sweep across the true immortal had completely dissipated. This means that, Zhang Chen was facing off against an immortal king with his cultivation at the Great Emperor realm. The gap was so huge that it would not be an exaggeration to say that it was a world of difference. In fact, under normal circumstances, the immortal king level only needed one thought. It can completely obliterate a great emperor. The perception between the two is so terrifying. Now, Zhang Chen does not have the killing array and faces an immortal king. Isn't it a dead end? Ye Wenchen, Sun Wuxian, Gu Shura, etc. The ancient ancestors of the three great avenues also look solemn. The target of those dark creatures and evil cultivators from outside the world was indeed Zhang Chen. But after killing Zhang Chen, they probably wouldn't mind and conveniently wiped out Yejinwu and the others. This naturally, they became even more murderous and attacked the Saint Ancestor Immortal formation crazily. Taisha Demon's son, does he still have any means? Countless creatures gathered from all over the world are eagerly waiting. From suppressing the three Yewenchen, to sweeping dozens of true immortals, to killing the immortal King Dharmakaya. Zhang Chen has endless trump cards. So that hundreds of millions of Taoists are constantly shocked. I wonder if Zhang Chen can continue to make a comeback now, facing an immortal king? It's really eye-opening for a dignified immortal king to actually do such despicable things as sneak attacks. Zhang Chen, with twinkling eyes, stared at the immortal king creature who was surrounded by the aura of darkness. This immortal king creature not only had the aura of darkness, but was also surrounded by the laws of evil immortals. At a glance, it looked like a strange source and an evil spirit from outside the world. But it has to be said that after combining the two, the power of this dark creature is indeed terrifying. Zhang Chen has seen a lot of immortal king levels. Let's not talk about others. Just his Taisha demon sect among them, his uncle, the eight-fingered devil boy, and other beings are all immortal king-level giants. However, the pressure of the immortal kings of his uncle and others is far from as terrifying as this dark creature. You guessed it right if so. The cultivation level of this dark creature may be able to impact the half-step ancient ancestor. The dark immortal king has a pair of indifferent eyes with piercing murderous intent. A mere great emperor, even if he has extraordinary trump cards, is just an emperor. How dare you mock him with such a low level of cultivation? Boom. There is no nonsense. The dark immortal king waved his sleeves, and the vast dark laws swarmed out. There are endless dark killing techniques, evolved, overwhelming, sealing the entire world. As for the dark immortal king's body, it did not approach Jiang Chen. Obviously, the dark immortal king is still wary. After all, no one knows whether Jiang Chen still has such a great killing weapon. Boom. For those dark killing techniques that are rushing towards him, Jiang Chen did not dodge, and stepped forward to meet him. Along with the mighty laws and methods exploded, all the dark killing techniques that swept towards him were blocked, or even directly shattered. Huh! Not only the dark immortal king was surprised by this scene. The hundreds of millions of creatures gathered in the outside world were also shocked, and some even failed to react. Jiang Chen actually penetrated the immortal king level killing attack with his bare hands. What happened? Even the older giants were stunned for a moment, extremely shocked. Jiang Chen didn't have a world-class killing weapon like the immortal killing sword formation before. Then how did he block the immortal king's killing technique? It's impossible. Jiang Chen's combat power has reached the immortal king level, right? Enlightenment immortal peak. Tamo Venerable, the ancient ancestor of heavenly court, ancient Shura and other supreme ancient ancestors immediately sensed it. They could faintly sense that there was a mysterious Tao method reviving in the immortal peak of enlightenment. After the mysterious Tao method appeared, which was a silent blessing on Jiang Chen. Before, they were suppressed by the overwhelming killing power of the Zuxian sword formation, so they did not notice it in time. Now, after carefully sensing it, they immediately discovered it. Tao is the Taoist teaching left by a holy ancestor helping Jiang Chen? Wrong. This breath. Immortal Lord. But soon. Ancient ancestors Fengchen, Suifeng and other ancient ancestors of the ancient immortal court felt a familiar aura. That aura was that of the ancient ancestors who had been sleeping in the ancient immortal court since the immortal ancient rebellion. The lord of the immortal court who is no longer born. In other words, has the immortal lord awakened from his slumber? Emperor Fist. Jiang Chen, who had been blessed by the Taoist methods of the Enlightenment immortal peak, now burst out with overwhelming immortal power. He stepped out across the endless void and appeared in front of the dark immortal king in an instant. There was no nonsense. Jiang Chen directly used the heavenly emperor fist. After punching out, the Taoism of the whole world was pulled by him. With this punch, the void around the dark immortal king suddenly condensed and compressed. An invisible storm vortex was centered on the dark immortal king. Appear, suppress, and block him. Was the Taoism of the holy ancestor of this immortal peak triggered? The dark immortal king's eyes narrowed slightly. The Taoist aura on Jiang Chen's body made him feel a little palpitated. Fortunately, countless years have passed in this enlightenment immortal peak, and the Taoism of the saint ancestors has become extremely thin. Otherwise, if so, he is probably going to be robbed now. Stop hiding it. Of course, although those holy ancestors' Taoism is extremely thin, the dark immortal king can still deal with it. But in the current situation, if he is delayed, it will be a dead end. The magic circle made of the holy ancestors' patterns, it is impossible to withstand the bombardment of the 10 ancient ancestors. They must suppress Jiang Chen before the immortal formation is blasted, and then they can retreat sadly. Whoosh whoosh. As the dark immortal king finished speaking, one after another the aura of the immortal king appeared. There were both dark creatures and evil races from outside the world. There were 7 in total. Including the dark immortal king, a total of 8 immortal kings appeared. There was a rumble. There was a storm around the dark immortal king. The whirlpool was directly blasted to pieces. Jiang Chen's powerful heavenly emperor's killing fist was also cut off halfway. Seal up. The moment Zhang Chen's killing technique was intercepted, 4 Immortal King evil cultivators immediately teleported around Zhang Chen. 4 Immortal King weapons were unsealed, forming a 4-sided evil array. Zhang Chen was like a fish caught in a net, trapped deep in that ancient evil formation, with nowhere to escape. Oh! At the same time, the Dark Immortal King also sacrificed the Immortal King seal, condensed the endless dark laws, and fought out with unparalleled ferocity. The human seal merged into one and passed by. There was a huge wave of killing and calamity in the world, trying to drown Zhang Chen. The other 3 Dark Immortal Kings did not hesitate, and they all sacrificed their Immortal King soldiers to form a killing combo. In a deadlock. Besides the immortal peak of enlightenment, countless Taoist beings have changed their colors. The 8 Immortal King giants have jointly set up a catastrophe of destruction, which is enough to annihilate even a star field. Although Zhang Chen has the Taoist blessings of the immortal peak of enlightenment. But in being trapped and besieged by the 8 Immortal Kings, I'm afraid I won't be able to make a comeback, right? Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 158. Now that the Immortal Master has taken action, there should be some backup plans, right? Ye Wenchen, Swafeng Ancient Ancestor and other Supreme Ancient Ancestors also looked solemn. Zhang Chen's mysterious Taoism was indeed enough to allow him to reach the level of Immortal King. However, it was only to reach the level of Immortal King. One-on-one, Zhang Chen may still have a chance of winning. But in a 1-on-8 situation, Zhang Chen cannot stop him. Naturally, they can only place their hopes on the Lord of the Immortal Courtyard. Although the Immortal Lord does not appears, but he must be watching this battle. If Zhang Chen is truly defeated, the Immortal Master will definitely take action himself. Rise. At that critical moment of life and death, Zhang Chen shouted loudly. Immediately, thousands of immortal lights rose into the sky and merged into Zhang Chen's body in the immortal peak of enlightenment. This caused Zhang Chen's momentum to skyrocket. Lifting up, rising several levels in the blink of an eye. Endless chaos spread, and Zhang Chen's figure disappeared. The Immortal King seal offered by the Dark Immortal King was also obscured by the chaos. Boom. Next. For a moment, there was a violent and destructive law impact, like a tsunami and a mountain torrent. The billowing energy of chaos spread out in all directions, surging like a tide. Even the evil formations set up by the 4 Immortal Kings and evil cultivators in all directions shook violently. It can be seen that the Immortal King seal that the Dark Immortal King exploded contains such terrifying world-destroying killing power. Whoops! But the terrifying killing power did not end there. Because, the other 3 Dark Immortal Kings, the killing combos did not stop at all, and blasted in with unparalleled strength. This caused the swarming chaos energy to vibrate and explode more and more, with a terrifying sound. There was a faint cracking sound. It was the 4-sided evil formation was damaged by the impact of destruction. Such shocking killings made Ye Jinwu and the other 3 stunned. Countless Taoist powerhouses in the outside world were also silent. Such a world-destroying killing, no one else can. It is said that Zhang Chen only has the fighting power of the Immortal King due to the blessing of external forces. Even a real giant of the Immortal King will probably be hated by it. But the leader of the Dark Immortal King raised his eyebrows slightly. Boom. Almost at the moment when the Dark Immortal King sensed it, a figure appeared like a ghost. The bright fist light containing the power of God was like a big world suppression, fiercely bombarded an evil immortal. The ear-splitting sound of the bombing stood up. The evil Immortal King who was forming a formation was blown up before he could react. A blood mist containing extremely evil magic was scattered. The sky seemed to be raining blood. According to the laws of time and space, the person who appeared like a ghost was naturally Zhang Chen. Swish, swish. But in the next moment, the scattered blood rain started to converge towards somewhere crazily. A figure quickly gathered together. In the blink of an eye, the evil immortal king that was blown up by Zhang Chen healed. For the immortal king level, it is easy to be reborn with a drop of blood and reunite with the true spirit. Want to completely kill the immortal king, you must erase the origin of the physical body and the true spirit of the soul. As long as one of these two exists, it is possible to resurrect from the dead. So close. This guy. Of course, Zhang Chen's killing skills could not kill the evil immortal king. But it also made the evil immortal king break out in cold sweat, and his sense of vigilance soared. At that moment, if he hadn't used the original immortal treasure to protect his body, he could have escaped. I'm afraid that Zhang Chen will completely wipe him out. Careful. He can already control the Taoism of the Holy Ancestor. The other evil immortal kings and dark immortal kings all reacted and all stared at Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen's combat power was obviously much more fierce and terrifying than before. In addition to being talented, the tens of millions in addition to the fusion of immortal light. More importantly, Zhang Chen has gradually been able to control the Taoism of the Holy Ancestor on his body. You must know that mere blessing and complete control have two different meanings. Click. Among those dark evil immortals, when he was moved, a clear cracking sound appeared. It was on the immortal formation filled with the sacred patterns of the saint ancestors that a slight crack appeared. Obviously, the 10 ancient ancestors including the Supreme Demon Lord were about to join forces to break the immortal formation. This also caused the expressions of those dark evil cultivators to change drastically. In front of Zhang Chen and other juniors, they could dominate and easily control life and death. However, if they were to face the Supreme Ancient Ancestor, they would be defeated in an instant. Obliterated. The Immortal King and the Ancient Ancestor are two completely different levels. Senior, I have to trouble you to take action. The Dark Immortal King, headed by him, after his eyes sank, immediately looked to somewhere in the sky. There was a dark aura floating like clouds and mist, which never dissipated. Senior. Could it be that? After hearing the words of the Dark Immortal King, the 9 demon old man and other giants immediately stared. To be able to call a top immortal king a senior is, at the very least, a half-step ancient ancestor. It may even be the real ancient ancestor realm. Boom. Really? The Dark Immortal King finished speaking. A vast and terrifying pressure came down with unbridled suppression. Half a step to supreme. Ye Jinwu and the 3 of them had cold sweat on their faces, and the fear in their bodies could not be suppressed. This is not their fault. After all, their cultivation level is exhausted, and they are only close to the level of true immortals. They are not like Zhang Chen. With the blessing of immortal peak Taoism, even immortal king giants can look down upon them. At this critical moment of life and death, an instinctive and uncontrollable sense of danger and fear will naturally appear in the body. Die. Along with that terrifying pressure, there was also a dark giant palm that covered the sky and the sun. That dark giant palm crashed down like the sky, leaving no room for anyone to dodge. Not only Zhang Chen, even the Dark Immortal King and the Evil Immortal King were shrouded in the giant hand of darkness. Naturally, those Dark Immortal King and Evil Immortal King immediately ducked away quickly and completely stayed away from Zhang Chen. The Dark Palm wanted to obliterate, it's Zhang Chen. The further away they are from Zhang Chen, the greater their chance of survival. Time and space go against the flow. Zhang Chen looked up, with a dull smile on his face. The next moment, the chaotic world around Zhang Chen roared up, heading straight towards the dark giant palm. In that chaotic world, De Zhonghe and Zhu Juyan merged with each other to derive the law of time and space that flows backwards. This is the time and space killing technique that Zhang Chen deduced from the law of time and space after breaking through to the Great Emperor realm. Boom. You can clearly see it. The dark giant palm is booming. After entering the chaotic world, he was completely twisted and torn. After that, under the horrified eyes of everyone, the dark giant palm was decomposed and shattered at a speed visible to the naked eye. Zhang Chen stood there without moving. But he did not suffer any injuries from the impact. The killing technique of a half-step supreme ancestral realm was easily resolved by Zhang Chen. Whether it was the 8 dark immortal kings or the billions of living beings in the outside world, they were all dumbfounded. This damn thing is too evil, isn't it? Have you completely understood the essence of the laws of time and space? Those ancient giants were also extremely moved and could not hide their amazement. The law of time and space is one of the most mysterious and terrifying laws in the world. Throughout the ages, there are not a few people who have practiced this way. But this way is obvious. It is difficult to get started, and it is also difficult to practice. It can be said that there are only a handful of people who understand the essence of the law of time and space. As for Zhang Chen, it is obvious that he has already explored the origin of this way. It has not been revealed in the past because his cultivation is limited and he is unable to exert the true power of the laws of time and space. Now that Zhang Chen has been blessed by the Taoism of the Saint Ancestor, the killing power of the laws of space and time has been fully revealed. If not for this, even if Zhang Chen controls the Taoism of the Saint Ancestor, he will not be able to use it. He couldn't easily resolve the half-step ancient ancestor's killing technique. Because Zhang Chen's Saint Ancestor Taoism was so thin that it could only rival the level of the Immortal King. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 159. Even if my real body doesn't come, you still want to kill me. Zhang Chen, who had shattered the giant hand of darkness, stood proudly, his face even more arrogant, and he sneered. That's as you wish. In response to Zhang Chen's arrogant provocation, the half-step ancient ancestor descended from the void. It was a strange creature that seemed to be human, but had 3 eyes and gray-brown pupils. A stream of biting ice hands murderous intent swept across as vast as the sea, seemingly capable of destroying the entire world. Of course, the arrival of this dark half-step ancestor was not entirely due to Zhang Chen's provocation. More importantly, it was the Saint Ancestor. There are more and more cracks in the immortal formation. He has no time to continue spending time with Zhang Chen. If you can die at the hands of me, you are considered. After the half-step ancient ancestor appeared, there was no hesitation at all, and endless Taoist techniques exploded. The unparalleled killing power that could destroy the world made hundreds of millions of creatures tremble all over. But after the half-step ancient ancestor said that, his body suddenly stiffened, and his killing technique disappeared. This is. The half-step ancient ancestor suddenly lowered his head. It was discovered that at some point, a mysterious fairy rope filled with fairy patterns appeared on his body. That mysterious fairy rope contains an extremely ancient aura, which seems to come from the prehistoric era. And it's just such a thin rope that looks easily breakable. But it caused the half-step ancient ancestor to be directly locked in place, unable to move. That is the prehistoric fairy treasure, the fairy rope. This is also one of Zhang Chen's trump cards. What kind of fairy treasure is that? Such a sudden change made countless creatures stunned for a moment. A giant half-step ancient ancestor was actually tied up directly with a thin rope. This scene, even if it happened in front of them, they couldn't believe it. Could it be that it was another Saint Ancestor killer? How many trump cards does this guy have? A half-step ancient ancestor murmured to himself, and there was a hint of fear in his words. That's right. Zhang Chen, whose cultivation level was only at the great emperor level, made him, who was half an ancient ancestor, feel the slightest chill in his heart. If he is the one who confronts Zhang Chen now, I'm afraid the outcome won't be any surprise. No wonder they are deliberately provocative. The 9-demon old man, Zhan Tianzun, the 12 ancestors and other giants of the heaven realm also came to their senses one after another. The purpose of Jiang Chen's provocation was to let the half-step ancient ancestor's body descend, so as to seal him. This way careful thinking, like the reincarnation of an old monster. Boom. After seeing Jiang Chen trap the half-step ancient ancestor with a strange move, the ancient ancestor of heavenly court, the supreme demon lord and others, the attack and killing naturally became more terrifying and devastating. This made the saint ancestor immortal formation shaky and seemed to collapse at any time. They knew that even if Jiang Chen could trap the half-step ancient ancestor, he would not be able to kill it. The half-step ancient ancestor, located between the immortal king and the ancient ancestor. This is a very special realm. Although the origin is the immortal king, the laws of the great Dao controlled by it are faintly touching the ancient ancestor realm. Therefore, even if the half-step ancient ancestor is trapped, it's enough to make the immortal king level helpless. What's more, Jiang Chen is not the real immortal king yet, he just rose up through external forces. What are you still looking at there? Take action quickly and kill him. The situation is indeed as expected by the supreme ancient ancestors from the outside world. Although the trapped half-step ancient ancestor has an ugly face, he is not panicked at all. While he controls the laws of the ancestral realm, he transforms into the realm of Taoism around his body, while giving the order in a cold voice. When giving the order, the half-step ancient ancestor also tried his best to break free from the shackles of the immortal rope. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Immediately, the immortal king creatures who had escaped far away came back to their senses and faced Jiang Chen, rushing away. To be honest, Jiang Chen actually had a way to trap the half-step ancient ancestor. This was something they never expected. Especially the dark immortal king who was the leader, even more chilled in his heart. Jiang Chen, if this bundle of immortal ropes were used to deal with him, he would probably be dead now. Looking back now, Jiang Chen was afraid that he would have sensed the existence of the half-step ancestor long ago. That is why, he will always keep such a hand to deal with the half-step ancient ancestor. Oh! Seeing the 8 immortal kings coming to kill, Jiang Chen stepped out and rushed straight towards the half-step ancient ancestor. Looking at that appearance, it seemed I want to take this opportunity to kill the half-step ancient ancestor. Don't overestimate your capabilities. The half-step ancient ancestor's eyes were cold, and the Taoist field around his body was boiling, creating endless killing calamities. Although he was trapped by the immortal binding rope and could not escape, but with his cultivation level, he was not without any means of self-defense. Jiang Chen wanted to kill him, but he was simply overthinking it. Boom! Boom! Sure enough, as the killing calamity of the ancient ancestors' Taoism exploded, Jiang Chen, who was killing fiercely, was blocked and stopped. The violent destruction, the impact of Taoism, accompanied by the deafening sound of bombing, resounded throughout the 9 days. Die. At this moment of obstruction, the 8 giants of the immortal king were already charging towards them. The 8 of them all used their immortal king soldiers, without any hesitation, to attack with all their strength. Now the Saint Ancestor immortal formation has arrived, on the verge of collapse. There is not much time left for them. Just in time. Jiang Chen was not surprised by this, but even had a sneer on his face. Boom! The next moment, a vast and boundless ancient bell of chaos shot out from the sky, covering the entire world. Above the ancient bell, there was the world of Hongmen, the heavens, time and space, the mysteries of heaven and Tao, the manifestation of earth, water, fire and wind, are extremely mysterious. It is the most precious treasure in the world, the Chaos Bell. With the appearance of the Chaos Bell, this world is completely sealed. Space, time, Taoism, heaven Dao seem to have stopped. Naturally, the struggling half-step ancestor and the 8 immortal kings also seem to be frozen. And the holy ancestor ancient treasure. Looking at the suppressed half-step ancient ancestors and immortal kings, countless Taoist traditions in the outside world were excited and shocked. If it weren't for the Saint Ancestor immortal formation around the Enlightenment immortal peak, they would have been suppressed. First, the four immortal immortals were suppressed. Swords, ropes for binding immortals, and now the chaos bell. Zhang Chen's continuous trump cards naturally shocked hundreds of millions of Taoists. This ancient clock of chaos. At this time, even Venerable Tai Mo and the other 10 supreme ancient ancestors felt faintly cold. The unparalleled coercion exuded by the chaos bell is no weaker than that of the immortal killing sword formation with overwhelming killing intent. Judging from Zhang Chen's appearance, it was obvious that he could only perform a simple sacrifice and was unable to fully utilize the power of the spell. If they get it, even the holy ancestor will dare to challenge it. This also made them very curious about Zhang Chen. I don't know why Zhang Chen has so many world-shattering killing weapons. Even if it was Taisha demon ancestor, it would be impossible for him to have so many rare holy treasures, right? After all, before the Taisha demon ancestor went to the outer world, he was only in the realm of the supreme ancient ancestor. Get on the road. After using the chaos bell, Zhang Chen didn't hesitate at all, controlled the chaos bell and suppressed it. Bang bang bang. Immediately, the half-step ancient ancestor and the 8 immortal kings who had been suppressed exploded. Blood was pouring out. After the fog boils, it turns into smoke and dissipates between the sky and the earth. All, dead. Outside the immortal peak of enlightenment, billions of Taoist beings were in deathly silence, dumbfounded. A half-step ancient ancestor and 8 giant immortal kings were completely stunned in an instant. Even Venerable Burning Sky and other 10 supreme ancient ancestors were all in sight. He was jumping wildly. Such an unparalleled killing was probably unbearable even by the supreme ancestor. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 160. Boom. Just when everyone was shocked and thought the war was over, a huge black thunder suddenly fell from the sky. In that dark thunder, there are endless dark laws, just like the pressure of the dark world. The situation in the billions of miles has changed, and the whole world seems to be in violent turmoil. The Supreme Ancestor. The hundreds of millions of Taoist beings who were originally shocked all changed their colors and boiled. With such overwhelming killing power, this is definitely a real ancient ancestor giant taking action against Zhang Chen. Click. However, before that jet black thunder fell, the world suddenly a fault appeared. Vaguely, in the fault between heaven and earth, an ethereal and mysterious ancient fairy court appeared. That jet black thunder blasted into the mysterious fairy court. Ancient immortal court. Exclamations immediately spread. The Taoists from all over the world looked at the ancient immortal court with excited expressions. Immortal Lord. Ancestor Fenchen, ancient ancestor Suifeng and other ancient giants also looked moved. They clearly sensed the aura of the immortal master from the ancient immortal court. Sure enough, the immortal master has awakened from his slumber. Ancient ancestor Fenchen and others people couldn't help but look at each other. Although the incident at Enlightenment Immortal Peak did not have the worst outcome this time, I am afraid that the Immortal Lord's punishment is unavoidable. Boom. When the ancient immortal court appeared and cut off the dark thunder, an earth-shattering bombing resounded. A vast world-shaking pressure of chaos swept away, causing the entire immortal realm to tremble. It was Zhang Chen who controlled the chaos bell and powerfully shattered the crumbling Saint Ancestor Immortal Tower. The formation. The endless killings and calamities from those weird creatures and evil races outside the world also made Zhang Chen feel in danger. Naturally, he took advantage of the chaos bell to gradually dissipate and smashed the immortal formation to escape. If he continued to be trapped inside, who knows what dangers will come. Oh! The barrier around the Enlightenment Immortal Peak had just dispersed. Zhang Chen felt a law as vast as the sea appear and sweep him away. The supreme demon took action and Zhang Chen brought them back. Ye Wenchen and others from the first ancestral land also immediately took action to bring Ye Jinwu and the others back. Walk. Without the slightest hesitation, Supreme Demon Lord waved his sleeves and disappeared with Zhang Chen and other powerful demon lords. Ancient ancestor of Heavenly Court, Venerable Zhan Tian, 12 ancestors and other giants also left with him. At the moment, all 5 imperial seals of Immortal Court have been obtained by Zhang Chen. Next, as long as the 5 seals are united, Zhang Chen can inherit the Immortal Court and become the heir of the Immortal Court. After this battle, no one dares to come to the 10,000 Realms Dao lineage. They are coveting the Emperor's seal on Zhang Chen. As for those dark creatures and evil tribes outside the world, since the ancient Immortal Court has appeared, there is no need for them to worry about it. Although the ancient Immortal Court has been overthrown, its foundation remains the same. It can be said that he is the strongest in all realms. At the very least, there are no top giants at the ancient ancestor level who can compete with the ancient Immortal Court. Taisha Demon Sun is about to soar into the sky. The top Taoist traditions in all the worlds all had this idea after watching the Taisha Demon Sect and others leave. Not only the Taisha Demon Sect, the ancient Heavenly Court, and the 5th Ancestor Land are their backers. Now, it will also become the rumored the descendant of the ancient Immortal Court is enough to command the branches of the ancient Immortal Court. More importantly, Zhang Chen himself has the heaven-defying qualifications that are enough to arrogantly surpass the ancient and modern. In this battle at the Enlightenment Immortal Peak, Zhang Chen truly showed the world what it means to be a monster. Monster. With an invincible background and incredible qualifications. In just a few years, Zhang Chen will be at the top of the world. Zhang Chen. In the 10th Ancestral Land. Bai Ziyu, surrounded by immortal energy, murmured to himself, with fighting spirit surging. Zhang Chen indeed has eternal glory, but it is still unclear who will have the last laugh. Bai Wuji, who returned from the sky, glanced at Bai Ziyu, whose fighting spirit was still there, and a smile appeared on his face. On the road of spiritual practice, you will encounter countless hardships. If even the Taoist heart and fighting spirit dissipate, then it will be impossible to reach the top. Of course, Bai Wuji didn't think it was possible for Bai Ziyu to catch up with Zhang Chen. Because Zhang Chen cannot be treated with common sense at all, that is, he is a monster. Ye Jinwu, Sun Tianji, and Gu Senluo also looked in the direction Zhang Chen left. But the 3 of them looked solemn, with a hint of awe in their eyes. Without enduring such a battle at close range, there is no way to know how terrifying Zhang Chen is. Although the Taoist aspirations of the 3 of them have not been shaken yet. But for Zhang Chen, he did have the thought that he could only look up to him. Zhang Chen is the only person in ancient and modern times who can kill true immortals, destroy immortal kings, and slaughter half-step ancient ancestors when he was in the great emperor realm. It doesn't matter whether Zhang Chen borrowed external force or not. Since he has done it, it is a real achievement, there is no doubt about it. Zhang Chen deserves the title of number 1 among this younger generation. These great lineages did not stay long and left with their respective descendants. The ancient ancestors of the ancient immortal court such as ancient ancestor Fenchen and ancient ancestor Suifeng escaped into the immortal peak of enlightenment. The dark thunder above the 9 heavens has been annihilated by the ancient immortal court. The strange source and the aura of the evil clan outside the world also completely disappeared. But that doesn't mean it's over. Why are the evil cultivators from outside the world and the dark creatures from strange sources able to escape into the immortal peak of enlightenment? This must be thoroughly investigated. Even in core areas such as the fairyland, evil tribes from outside the world and strange sources can easily invade. I'm afraid there is no place in the world that can guard against them. This is a major event that threatens the root of the entire Xianhuang world. Naturally, we cannot relax at all. Heavenly Domain. Taisha Demon Sect. After returning, Zhang Chen entered the ancestral demon palace and went into seclusion. Because the 5 imperial seals he obtained sensed each other and showed signs of automatic fusion. This is a great joy for Zhang Chen, and he will naturally go into seclusion immediately. On the ancient mysterious altar, Zhang Chen sat cross-legged, the energy of chaos filling his body, evolving into a chaotic world. Buzz buzz. In front of Zhang Chen, the 5 imperial seals were merging with each other. Zhang Chen also saw the true appearance of the Emperor's seal, which was inherited from the ancient immortal court. The entire imperial seal is only as big as a palm, with a mysterious word Emperor imprinted on the front. Vaguely, there are traces of the aura of the Supreme Avenue brewing in the word Emperor. On the back of the Emperor's seal, there is the shadow of the ancient fairy court, with a fairy spirit flowing elegantly, like an independent world. System. When the 5 imperial seals merged, Zhang Chen was doing 2 things, communicating with the system. This battle at the Enlightenment Immortal Peak, Zhang Chen can be said to have gained a lot. Not only did he get the imperial seals of Yejinwu and the others, he also plundered their qi. Luck. In addition, Zhang Chen also got the origin and luck of more than 40 true immortals, 8 immortal kings, and a half-step ancient ancestor. It can be imagined that the luck and origin Zhang Chen plundered this time, how majestic and astonishing it is. Although it consumes the opportunity to kill the immortal sword formation and the chaos bell. Compared to the harvest, it is definitely worth the money. Congratulations to the host. You have triggered a special opportunity. There is a half chance of it failing. Do you want to exchange it? After Zhang Chen communicated with the system, the clear voice of the system sounded. Special opportunity. Zhang Chen's heart was lifted, and he naturally said without hesitation in exchange. In the past few years since the system awakened, there have only been 2 special opportunities. The first time was to obtain destiny. The second time was to let the innate chaotic divine body directly transform into the innate chaotic Deo body. I don't know if this third time, what kind of opportunities will there be? As for the chance of failure, Zhang Chen is not worried at all. Ever since he integrated the fate and fate, Zhang Chen's luck has never been bad. Together, we respect the host and obtain the secret method of luck, the innate luck gathering technique. Not long after, the voice of the system appeared. Along with it, there was also a secret technique of luck that echoed the fate and destiny.